Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video we're gonna be concentrating on part 10 of the hard mode for Seymour's lost chapter, The Spirit of Salvation. And a quick disclaimer, again, I have mentioned this in my previous video, but I cannot do a No God Says challenge for these lost chapters at this point in time because I am too busy. If you want to know more, really, I suggest you check out my channel update as to why I cannot do the No God Says challenge for this particular month. Anyway, I don't want this disclaimer to be far too long like in the previous video, so without further ado, let's get on with this video. So let's start this off with the Knight Behemoth's weaknesses and resistances. Well, it has two weaknesses to thunder and wind based attacks. It doesn't really have any resistances. As for its abilities, it has access to Brave Attack, which is the melee Brave Attack, Heave, which is the melee HP attack, and it has access to Mighty Roar because Roar becomes Mighty Roar from level 70 onwards, which means it gains its Brave and grants max Brave up and a physical damage resist to itself. The next ability it has is Thunderbolt, which is a group Thunder Brave magic attack and has a high turn rate as well. The next one is Flare, which is a Brave magic attack. And next is Energy Flare, which is a group Brave magic attack plus an HP attack. And this also has a high turn rate and it becomes more powerful from level 70 onwards. And finally, it has Combo Rush, which is a melee Brave magic attack that can inflict speed down. And now it's time for some general tips and guide. And for the first tip is obviously to save most of your abilities for the last wave. This is a 5-wave fight, so be ready for a long one. The next one is to bring in the boosted characters such as Seymour, Terra, and Shantoto. As for characters that are not boosted, here are my suggestions, which are Sephiroth again, and Kain, Vincent, Lightning, Kryle, and of course the God Saz. As for the Brave batteries and healers, obviously we have a choice with the 4 that I particularly like, which is Eiko, Aerith, Yuna, and Penelo. As for the summon though, you can have a choice between Ifrit and Ramuh, but I feel like Ifrit is still better just because you get that extra 20% attack while your HP is maxed. Ramuh is good for defensive purposes, but I just feel like Ifrit is still tops everyone else. As for my next tip, this relates to the third wave, which is to make sure whoever Sephiroth is targeting, that character should use their HP attack because the Sephiroth mannequin will always use Heartless Angel on his first move, bringing your Brave to 1, so not to waste your Brave. If that Sephiroth mannequin is ahead of whoever he's targeting, well, unfortunately your Brave will just turn into 1. As for my next tip is for the melee characters, it might not be a good idea to bring any melee characters other than the ones I mentioned, as the Knight Behemoths have a physical resistance when they use Mighty Roar. Now you can still take advantage of their thunder weakness, like Lightning can use that as to her advantage. Sephiroth can do insane amount of single Brave shaving, so those kinds of character like Kain can do a ton of damage as well. However, The only reason I put Kane on the list is because he has a high natural attack stat, plus you can bypass the defense if you're using his jump ability. But in any case, I would move away from melee characters if you are if they're not the ones that mentioned. This includes ranged characters as well, like Vincent, but Vincent has the Live War ability, so you can take advantage of the Knight's Behemoth's weakness. My last tip for you guys is Live War saves lives. And what I mean by this is I usually, when I try to do this with a No God Says challenge, I did use Live War quite a bit. And what happened was whenever they were going to do an all attack, I would use Live War, and this would ensure that I either won't get broken because I have enough brave, or only a few of my characters will get broken, 1 or 2. And this makes sure I have a turn before they do a second turn, because you get pushed back. And I think that's it for my general tips and guides. So what are my final thoughts with this Lost Chapter? Well, I feel like Seymour's Lost Chapter is a little bit more difficult than Ace's Lost Chapter, in the sense that you can actually die in this particular fight. So what I want to reiterate here is basically the ability of the Knight Behemoth to have physical damage resistance to itself. Now, while the melee characters that I have mentioned can take advantage of the Behemoth's weakness, it still won't do as much of a damage. That's why I feel like Kryl would be a very good character to have here, especially if you have her max limit breaked or broken. The other character that I want to highlight is Papalimo. I know I actually forgot to mention him in the last video, and this video I think I skipped over his name for some reason, but really Papalimo is one of the best magic based characters, especially in terms of attack. He is just really good, and you can, I know that the Knight Behemoth doesn't have the elemental weakness that Papalimo has, but Papalimo's attack is just way high and it's really good. And again, if you have Seymour max limit broken to the max, even if you only have his 35 CP maxed out, then this fight will be a little bit more easier, because you can definitely take advantage of Seymour's debuffs, especially the max brave down, which means you won't, in the likely scenario that they break you and they gain all these brave, the max brave down will probably save your characters. Now, unfortunately for me, I actually don't have my Seymour max limit broken, and so I do have his 15 CP, and I believe I broke it, like I limit break it like once, and I do, because the last Seymour staff that the 15 CP I had, I actually sold for Power Stones, and I do have his 35 CP as well, but again, I don't have it max limit broken. So I believe with Seymour here will be a lot easier, especially with that debuff. It has the attack down debuff, defense down debuff, I believe, and a max brave debuff. It's kind of like Tidus in a way. The only reason why I didn't like Tidus in this fight, because you can't actually, I actually prefer Ifrit rather than Ramuh, and plus the physical resistance as well, which is really not great. Even though, now I still like Saz here, even though, you know, they do somewhat resist his attacks, but even though I say that, there are openings where they actually don't use Mighty Roar for some reason. I know when there's only one of them, they kind of like to cycle Mighty Roar in their rotation, but as you guys can see here, there are small opportunities where you can take advantage of them not having Mighty Roar. Anyway guys, I think that's it for this video. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys what you think of this fight. Do you think this is a little bit harder than Aces or a little bit easier? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming, because that's going to be important for the next month. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.